with a story about a horse that is, I think, rapidly becoming one of the stories of the year here at Evangel Downs. Centigrade is a 5-year-old gelding. Minus Delahousie trains him. Centigrade, through his first 3 campaigns, was okay. 26 starts, 5 wins, so roughly 1 out of every 5. He was putting a winner's check in the pocket for his owner, but nothing spectacular. Had great breeding, of course, out of Foolish Pleasure, and for the most part over the last year or so stayed with the cheaper races. Well, began to find its stride a little bit in races at Delta Downs and starter allowances. Delahousie, of course, brought him over here to Evangel Downs and kept him in starter allowances, fairly cheaper races against lesser competition. The horse continued to win, sort of stepped him up a little bit in competition. Well, then Delahousie started him in a $12,000 allowance here at the track, and Centigrade got on top, and he won at odds of better than 5-1. All right, things look good. So now you try him in the $17,000 Memorial Day handicap. Went off at 4-1, got on top, won again. Has beaten some of the better distance horses, in fact, here at the track. So what's the deal with this 5-year-old gelding that has now won 9 out of its last 10 races, and I think is probably one of the early favorites in the upcoming Evangel Mile, one of the stakes races here at the track. Centigrade ran last week. In fact, Delahousie threw him back in a race, it looked like, just to keep the horse more or less fit, just to keep him running. Dropped him back down in conditions to starter allowance, and he absolutely toyed with the field and won it easily. That was his ninth. And for more on Centigrade and more on this horse that we truly believe is becoming one of the stories of the year here at the track, here's Rex Moore.
Sometimes good things happen to good people. Now, Minus Delahousie didn't know it at the time, but when his son gave him a phone call from Indiana some time back, he was about to strike gold.
My son was in Indiana at Hoosier Park. That was in November. The track was closing, and he called me. He said, "Daddy, that man's got 2 horses for sale, a Foolish Pleasure and a De Hare. He'd take $2,500 for both of them." So I told him, go ahead and buy them.
Sight unseen, huh?
Yeah. And the horse had just won November the 5th in 109 and 2 over there.
So Minus Delahousie purchased 2 horses he had never even seen. One was injured and never panned out. The other, the son of Foolish Pleasure, has turned out to be one of the winningest horses in North America this year. His name is Centigrade, and he has now won 9 of 11 races. Delahousie's original small investment has now netted him around $35,000 in 1997 alone. What have you done with him since you acquired him?
Just train him. He wasn't trained before, it looked like. He was fat like a fat pig when I got him.
Now, Centigrade has been eligible to run in several starter allowance races because he ran not too long ago in a $2,500 claiming race. Delahousie says his horse has improved each time out, as evidenced here when he simply coasted in the stretch to win easily last Monday night. And he'll face much tougher competition if he runs in the $30,000 Evangel Down Sprint Championship or the Evangel Mile. But in the meantime, Delahousie will continue to enjoy Centigrade's magnificent run through 1997, with the same thoughts running through his own mind each time the horse crosses the finish line.
Oh, he's just a racehorse. He showed, and he goes to the front, and he don't look back.
They're now into the turn, and it's Centigrade that's gone to the front. He's put away Mr. Brandon and opened it up by 4 lengths. 113 flat, 3/4 of a mile. Head of the lane, Centigrade trying to make it 8 wins in 9 starts. Leads it by 5. Castles and Kings has come on for a challenge for second. Here comes GB on the move as they approach the 16th pole. It's Centigrade under a hand ride, leading it by 4 lengths. Castles and Kings will get second. GB third, but they don't get Centigrade again tonight.
I'm Rex Moore reporting for Down the Stretch.
You know, Centigrade was originally nominated to run in the feature that ran last night at Evangel Downs, but obviously, having run like 5 days before, there was no way it was going to go again. Well, Minus Delahousie pointing toward the Evangel Mile, I would think so, especially as well as this horse is running, and he's so impressive getting out of the gates in that starter allowance last week. Mr. Brandon, which is a pretty good horse and very good on the lead against lesser company, tried and tried and tried so hard to get the lead, and Centigrade finally gave it to him on the backstretch. And then when they moved into the far turn, just went into another gear and put him away. And this gelding out of Foolish Pleasure, I'm telling you right now, even though it has not run consistently against the better company in the distance races here at the track, that's going to be the one to beat by the time they get to this stakes race. We've got more to come on Down the Stretch, of course. Charlie Morrow's got a tip for us on probably a term that you're not very familiar with. We had an accident here at the track last week when a horse went into the rail, and it's going to cost the services of one of our regular riders here for probably the rest of the meet. There's a lot more to come, including, of course, Friday night's trials for the DS Shine Young Futurity. All of them Down the Stretch continues after this.
In the winner's circle, again, that's Centigrade, 5-year-old gelding by Foolish Pleasure, out of Spirit of Florida by Currock. Owned by Mary Lou Delahousie, trained by Minas Delahousie, and ridden by Kevin Melanson. Second is number 4, Castles and Kings, and third, number 2, GB. 1 minute, 40 seconds flat for the 1 mile.